Hello everyone and welcome to a sort of EA conference this time. This is for the sort of E3 going on. You may not know, you may be living under a rock, a very big rock. And well, EA has just, finished up all their good stuff. This video might be up tomorrow, today, sometime in the future, I don't bloody know. Whenever it decides to go up. And yes, you hear that. That is Mr. Sherlock Shuffle. He is joining me for this little short English language. Sorry, I'm on too much relentless. He is joining me for this video. Say hi.
Hello.
And well, we're going to give our thoughts, opinions on EA and our good or bad points, and then you can decide if you want, and you can rip us apart. Please don't. Please be nice.
Rip him apart. Just go to him. Leave me alone. Just go.
His channel will be down below. Go say hi. Love him. He's awesome. Anyway, EA conference was a bit. I don't know. Yeah. I did, my personal opinion, I did find it a bit of a snowfest. I mean, there was a few, lively things. They did announce the Battlefield Hardline beta, and then the whole world exploded, and then PSN went down because of it, and their websites and servers in Origin died a horrible, painful death. Although Kev got it.
Did he? Oh, good.
Yeah, he's got it. I'm going to see his Origin account.
I think Dylan might have got it as well.
But I mean, the EA conference kind of was like, here's because they have most of the sports franchises now, if not them all. It was like, here's golf, here's football, and I get they sell millions. People love them.
I think those are more their obligatory rather than we really need to push these. They know they're going to sell, but it's more of a hey, look, we do actually still innovate on even the most boring of shit, and here's just to prove that we do. I think it's more what it was. I mean, obviously the shining gems of EA is what Dragon Age. They announced that they were going to do another Mass Effect, and what was the other one they were going to do?
Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge. Oh, and was it them that was at Criterion?
Yeah, that was interesting with the way EA done
good.
Because it was like, this is not get any, the massive textures on it. It's still alpha footage, and they said at the beginning we're going to be doing a bit different. You'll see stuff that's coming out this year, next year, and stuff that's for the future. You'll get this sort of a dev diary type thing, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for anyone that obviously is unaware of what we're talking about here, the devs, the Criterion are the devs that behind Burnout, like the original Burnout, and I think they took over of Need for Speed for a little while. And the game they're now making is a fully first-person, multi-vehicle, let's have some fun sort of thing. They've got ATVs, helicopters, cars, trucks, you name it, they will have it.
I mean, there was a point you were jumping from a helicopter straight onto an ATV and just driving off a cliff, and you're like, what?
And the helicopter crashed.
Yes. And I mean, it wasn't like it was, I wouldn't say low poly, it was still high poly kind of that looked, but there was not this sort of texture paint over it, you could say. But it looked like, if they can pull this off, which I believe they can because they're a pretty damn good studio.
They are.
If they can pull this off, it's going to be a massive title, and it's probably going to, they'll get proper gameplay next E3, and then it might release 2016, I would think, because that's what the stage it looks like it'll be at.
Yeah. Just gonna,
Although, in saying that, then, of course, they had all the sports. And then...
all the sports.
Then, of course, The Sims.
And The Sims.
Which had... nobody going mad except all the girls in the audience.
Yeah, that was quite funny actually. And obviously, now we're not trying to say that the Sims is only for the ladies out there, but it's definitely the larger demographic.
Just like screaming, and it was just like, okay then, okay.
Yeah.
But the biggest two deals, as you've mentioned, Dragon Age, Inquisition, and the new Mass Effect, it seemed to be taking sort of universal or going somewhere. I mean,
what they said about what BioWare said about Mass Effect was they teaming up with Visceral. Is that who they're teaming up with? Is that another game?
No, that's DICE and Visceral teaming up for
I
Battle
don't bloody remember. Either way, that's boring too. Mass Effect thing was basically, look, we've heard from the players that they want to go elsewhere, they want to see different characters and whatnot, which is definitely 100% yes, I would tend to agree with that. That seems like the better way to go. Not played any Mass Effect games because I was going to play it, but then the whole Mass Effect 3 debacle happened and I boycotted them all. Anyway. So I think that's going to be quite good. I'd like to see where they go with it. I think I could very much play the next Mass Effect game, despite obviously not being invested in the franchise, but I think that'd be kind of good. A nice fresh start for new people that didn't want to have to go that far back and whatnot. What else was there? There was the Dragon Age Inquisition, which I must say I'm a little bit. I've been put
it had
off.
dragons in it.
I've been put off Dragon Age after Dragon Age 2. I loved the first one. I adored Origins, but
It
Dragon Age 2
seems like
killed
they're
it.
trying to sort of fix that though.
Yeah, I know they're trying to fix it, and I can see where they're going with it, and they're trying to get back to like Origins. They're going back to the origins of Origins, but I just
The thing is, they're coming out like mere months between The Witcher 3.
yeah, and The Witcher 3 is kind of a big deal.
I mean, The Witcher 3 is probably going to melt anyone's PC
Yes.
and consoles.
Yes.
But like Dragon Age, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of definitely on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when was its release date? Damn it.
It doesn't have the wow factor or something like The Division does, or the Crew for you, for example. But it's definitely it could be okay.
It
as
could work.
opposed to,
I mean,
I need this now, sort of thing.
the animation quality looked awesome.
Yes, that's much improved, much improved.
I mean, that plus like when they were fighting the dragon, it was like, this looks good.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that is obviously as I've played both Dragon Age games, you don't really fight that many dragons.
I was
And
hoping
although-
they'd change that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you fought more of them in Dragon Age 2 than you did in Dragon Age 1. But like, I can see why they would be rare, because obviously dragons aren't meant to be all over the place. But I'm just kind of a little bit like, they're making them seem more common, but they're meant to be kind of mythical at the same time, and it's just, should you really call it Dragon Age, and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say on that.
I think what we need to bring up the sort of like titan in the house. It seems like EA seems to want to push every year now. Battlefield, the hardline. I mean, excuse me. My personal opinion on it though is like, I feel the single player will be stronger this time because of the other studio they've got help, because it's a cross between DICE and Visceral.
Yeah.
And anyone who doesn't know Visceral, wherever you be living, they're the Dead Space franchise, and whether or not you like the latest one came out.
See, I right, quickly touch on Dead Space. Dead Space, the change from being cyber horror to a more shooter makes perfect sense to me, and makes perfect sense from the context of the story. I'm gonna point that out. It does, because he gets used to it. You get desensitized to it. So Dead Space, to me anyway, made logical sense. But besides the point,
I secretly
Space
want
is
Dead Space 4, but
yeah.
but Visceral does know how to sort of make stories.
Mm-hmm.
DICE hasn't really. I haven't played Battlefield 4, but I've heard it's not much better than Battlefield 3. But Battlefield 3 was pretty terrible for its single player.
It could be a match made in heaven, because evidently DICE have got the gunplay and they've got mechanics down to a T, and they've got that perfectly and very well refined. And Visceral have the storytelling, the world building, but they're coming together on what, in my opinion, it seems like a really big standalone DLC. It looks to me like it would be a Blood Dragon, if you go back to Far Cry reference, because it's just cops and robbers game. That's all it is. And I don't think it should be a full massive release. Personally, I don't. It's just my opinion.
EA, though.
Yeah, it is EA.
But the kind of, I would like to bring into the fact of it though is like, it almost feels like EA is doing what they used to do with BioWare, slapping on the sticker going, it's Battlefield. A lot of people said, should have just called it something else. I obviously don't just call it cops and robbers, but come up with, just go with a new IP and say, it's using the engine. It might look like Battlefield, but do subtle tweaks and everything, and then you're going to have a completely different game. But it's like, here's the Battlefield sticker. Now it's a Battlefield franchise, and it's like, try not to taint the Battlefield franchise. I mean, Battlefield 4 did release pretty darn soon after 3.
Yeah, and it was terrible because of it, like buggy as hell and didn't work properly.
And I mean, I think they've launched the patch actually fix the next code. I don't quote me on that. I've heard that they're launching that patch, but hey, but I mean, EA didn't really do what I thought they might do, is like spam Star Wars.
Yeah, no. I mean, I sadly I missed out on the Star Wars bit, sadly.
It was right at the beginning, like the first.
That's why I missed it.
The first 5 minutes was. They said I think it said pre-alpha footage or something, pre-alpha footage, in-game gameplay, and then they mentioned it's like, it's all built around the sort of actual movie locations.
What particular games were they showing off for Star Wars then?
All I saw was one of the, what is it, speeder bike? What do you call those bike things in Star Wars? I don't know my stuff.
They're just bikes. They're just bikes.
One of them going through the woods with someone on it, and then it's just like, it looks pretty and very nice, but like that's all I kind of saw about it, and I was like, okay. And it was like, yeah, we've got Star Wars coming. And then they just kind of left it at that. I feel like they're maybe saving it for next year's E3 to go, we've got this, we've got that.
Yeah, I mean, because what they acquired, was it they acquired the license this year or late last year? It might have been late last year they would have got
It was
like
late
the rights
last year,
to it.
because I know Visceral was doing one.
Yeah, Visceral's
DICE is
Visceral's
doing one.
doing one. DICE is doing a Battlefront game, but they're doing a remake. They're completely redoing Battlefront. Visceral have got one, and I think EA recently picked up 1333 as well.
There's rumours that they managed to get all the sort of
Yes.
assets and everything in 13, but like Disney's weird because they're wanting less really violent games, you know, like violent, but they don't want really. So I don't know if that's really because it applies to Disney's own studios or applies to whoever's making with the
Yeah, I
properties.
mean, the thing is, though, is that they can't really say, oh, we don't want it to be violent. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying violent games are considerably more appealing than non-violent games, but the demographic that enjoys Star Wars now, I mean, what, Phantom Menace came out in, what, 2001?
A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away. And that was like 13 odd years ago. And obviously you would have had to been 5, 6, 7, whatever it may be, to get to that. So you would be now, you know, closer to like my age, for example, 21, 22, rather than the ancient Fraz over there.
Hey!
And obviously the original Star Wars trilogy was like in the 80s, for fuck's sake. You know, they're old people now, like my mum. So yeah, no, but
You better hope she doesn't listen to this.
she won't. She's too busy faffing around on a bloody iPad looking at sparkly jewelry and stuff she can't afford.
And that EA's conference, so like overall to me, it was a bit meh.
Summary of EA's conference: sports. It would have said
It's in the game.
It's in the game. But that's all it was. There was UFC, there was hockey, there was football, there was American football,
It was golf.
there was golf.
Which I might add actually ripped Battlefield's intro.
Yeah, the trailer of Battlefield 4 with like the destroyer class ship going into the island. You played. They showed that you played on that particular.
Basically, you're sitting and you hit your golf ball over the ship as it comes crashing in because
Yes, it's their fantasy maps, is what they call it.
that's what their next Battlefield is going to be. Battlefield Golf.
maybe Hardline's going to have a golf mini game.
Don't give them ideas.
Oh my god!
Because the
You
game's
better hit
still.
those kids.
Anyway, thank you again, Sherlock Shuffle, for joining me. Make sure you check out his link down below for his channel. He's awesome. You are. Shush. He does tons and tons of videos. He's back at it. Just so you know.
Yes, tons of videos.
You do at least one a day.
Nowadays, yeah.
Anyway, folks, make sure you check him out. And thank you again, Sherlock Shuffle.
Always a pleasure.
See you next time, everyone.
Bye bye.